Bowing before the legendary forest god, the princess of a frozen kingdom seeked the power to take vengeance on the world she had felt had wronged her, on those who had ever locked away a young mind, on those who had ever lied, and especially on those who had ever broken a heart. Seeing the princess having already embraced a fragment of power granted to her in her youth, the Krampus would agree, and she would become the avatar of fury and vengeance she so greatly desired. But this would not be enough, and she would seek out others to do her bidding. Gods had begun. Humanity had all players deep and challenging. Different is less likely to get me horribly In shock about her daughter leaving, the Queen of the Frozen Lands would soon be put to rest next to her late husband, and the kingdom would be left without an heir. A short time of democratically elected leaders would ensue, but eventually the populace would leave the cold wastes, leaving the palace and the ground surrounding it completely abandoned. They would not remain this way, however, and after centuries of neglect the princess would return, having grown in the power of the forest, and becoming the being of wrath she had desired to be. Still seething with the pain she had felt so long ago, and seeing a great opportunity before her, she allowed the Krampus and his people into the kingdom, allowing them to spread their dark magic far and wide. Crowning herself as the rightful monarch of the kingdom, she declared that much may have changed in the world, but there were still those who needed to be punished. In her long seclusion in the forest though, she had convinced herself that everyone who had wronged in some way must be punished. She would declare war on the whole of Terraria, but to do so, she would need an army. Alongside the Krampuses, she would enlist the hulking enchanted trees of the forest, wild creatures of the mountains, and ice elementals that dwelled around the land, although they were still not enough, and the Queen had seen the mechanical prowess of the world at large, so desired allies with comparable abilities. To this end she sought out the elven tinkerers to the north, a people of myth who were said to be capable of great creations. Naturally they resisted the Queen, but readily bowed to her once she began systematically exterminating their populace. They would create devices for her, automatons and machines, but still even this was not enough. She knew the pain of betrayal and wanted to inflict such a pain on all of her victims. Then the most devious of all inspirations occurred to her. The people of Terraria would celebrate holidays of giving and companionship, so she would hijack this winter holiday and devastate them in the cruelest of ways. She ordered holiday-themed disguises and equipment so that her forces would go unnoticed until it was too late. There was one last thing though to complete her army. The Queen desired a powerful weapon of terror that could lay waste to anything in its way. With the champion of Terraria having recently defeated the mechanical scourges, the elves ventured to the site of their destruction and collected materials to create a fearsome tank, including the skull of Skeletron Prime. This too was disguised as the deity the people of the world seemed to worship, a god named Santa Claus. Hidden as heralds of the holiday, the Ice Cream's army would venture forth into Terraria to lay waste to those she deemed as having done wrong, destroying their belief and resolve before descending herself to land the final blow. It wasn't long before word started to spread about her army, and some towns began preparing for an onslaught. Some even managed to destroy the army and rout the Queen, but every year, when the frost began to creep, she would return with a fresh force to terrorize her enemies. Although she is undoubtedly strong and her army is mighty, more and more who fought her began to win, and eventually people became accustomed to her yearly attacks. Then again, with everyone so vigilant about the attack, the holiday that once took place in that time has been all but forgotten. So, in a way, each year the Ice Queen destroys people's belief in the holiday spirit. She is once more victorious, even if her forces are destroyed. One day she may see that not everyone is as bad as she thinks, that some people do care for each other, even though no one ever seemed to care for her. One day she may end her attacks entirely, but so long as her heart remains frozen, the terror will continue, and the winter holiday that was once so beloved will continue to be stolen from the people of Terraria. Of course, even without the Queen, there are still those who would do their best to steal the holiday and cause as much mischief as they can while doing it. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe so you'll be the first to know about my future videos. And don't forget, I've got a Patreon and merch store. I think that's about it, so have a great day and I'll see you later.